Hey everyone, this episode is for anyone that has sent out postcards and is waiting for the phones to ring. We're going to walk you through a call that has come in from one of my postcards, and one of my team members answered it, and we are going to analyze that call, hoping to give you some confidence when the calls start coming in for you. My name is Ryan Haywood, and I, back in 2019, left my 9-to-5 and started a 30-day wholesaling challenge where I completed my first transaction in 14 days, earning $8,500 on my first deal. Since then, I've gone on to do over 400 transactions and continue to do them every week.
Right. And for those of you who don't know, wholesaling is the act of finding a motivated seller who's got a distressed home, getting that under contract, and then getting a finder's fee for bringing it to somebody that wants to buy it for cash. And you can make the difference between what you got it under contract for and what that cash buyer is buying it for. And it's really valuable because typically people who are in a distressed situation, they just want speed and convenience to get out of that deal and on with their life. And a cash buyer is typically very busy flipping and renovating homes, so they don't have time to source deals. So that's where you come in as the middleman, and you can actually make a very, very good living, as Ryan mentioned. And I know as well, because in the last 8 years, I've helped people close over 10,000 deals in all 50 states with the software platform called DealMachine that I created for giving you the data to see who's motivated and the ability to send direct mail or call or text them. So my name is David Lecko, and in this episode, we're going to analyze one of Ryan's calls.
We are based out of St. Joseph, Missouri, and we purchase houses in both St. Joe and Kansas City. And so we send out a number of these flyers. Do you mind sharing property address? Let's look.
I can't hear.
It is 210 Hammond Street in St. Joe.
You're in Hammond, you say?
Yes.
You said that it's that a friend of yours owns the property?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just pulling that up. Google Maps here, okay. Yeah, got that pulled up here. We would have interest coming and taking a look. Do you mind sharing, do you have any information about the house in terms of how long they've owned it, or just kind of general condition or anything like that?
It's all you there. Try to see what you offer and all of that, or how you go about it.
Yeah. So our process is, if it is someone who is looking to sell their property in the near future, if someone's like, yeah, I think I'm going to sell this 5 years from now, but and we engage in conversation until later. But if someone's looking to sell a property, we come out and walk through, and we'll snap some pictures and take a couple measurements just kind of to see the extent of work that may potentially need done.
Do you take measurements?
Yeah, so our business model, what we do when we do the walkthrough, we're actually getting measurements of all the rooms and kind of analyzing scope of work, because when we get a house under contract and when we try to advertise that house for sale to our other investors, we're also providing them an elaborate scope of work, as well as the option to use us to fix the property. So when we go and do a walkthrough, we are looking at everything. We're looking at square footage. We're looking at everything that needs to be fixed so that we can put an elaborate scope of work together. What I like about this is Clint is telling her what to expect when we show up to the appointment. I just want to get to the point where we're getting an appointment scheduled quicker.
Oh, yeah. Okay, got it.
We'll come up with an offer, and sometimes it's just working with the seller as well, just kind of understanding what they are looking to sell the property for, and what we think the value of the company is. And if we come to an agreement on price, we will get that property. We'll look to get it under contract, and then we will piece together a closing date that works for both sides. And then we will also coordinate the transaction basically from beginning to end. So it would close at a title company, so everything is legal and official, and all the proper title work and documents are done.
So again, this is another thing that we kind of put emphasis on, is setting the expectation of what is going to happen throughout this process. I say it again, I wish we would have pushed to get a date to walk through the property earlier, and then let this part be kind of the back end of the call. But this is just setting the expectation of the whole process of the deal. We're going to go through, we're going to put a scope of work together. We're going to, if we agree on the price point, we're going to get it under contract. We're going to get it to the title company and see what else he says.
And yeah, that's kind of a rough summary of what that process looks like.
Okay, is there a time that you guys want to set up head out there?
Yeah. Does your friend, do they currently live at the property?
Yes, she does.
Okay. And do you happen to know, and I apologize, it cut out a little bit earlier when I asked this question, but are they interested in selling in the near future, or is this for something that's down in the...
No, I think she is. It's yes, what she pretty much just mentioned is if the price is right and everything, seems like a good deal for her. Yeah.
So really, Clint here is going through the process of qualifying whether or not this is a legitimate lead. Are you interested in selling the property, or are you just kind of fishing for an offer? We get that a lot too, especially with this is not a cold call. This is a return call from a postcard. And so you get a lot of people that are calling, hey, you send me a postcard. How much is your offer? Or, hey, the price is $400,000. Bring me a check. So Clint is going through the process of qualifying the lead, and then hopefully soon scheduling an appointment.
Hey guys, if you know you want to quit your job in the next 3 months, make sure you're subscribed to this podcast, because we've got some incredible frameworks with step-by-step instruction that you're not going to want to miss. Also, leave us a rating and review to let us know your favorite parts and why you want to get financial freedom.
Yeah. And then for a time to come and look at it, I could come out as early as tomorrow, or if you want to look at a time of several days from now, what works best for you?
I think today or the day after tomorrow, whatever works for you.
And yeah. Would there be a time thing tomorrow that works?
One thing that I always want to see is you, as the one that's scheduling, you be in the driver's seat of this piece of the conversation. So give them, if they're unsure of a time, which this lady, not exactly, any time works. That's when you take the steering wheel and you say, okay, how about tomorrow at 10 a.m.? And then force them to say no, instead of kind of waiting for them to give you a time. It just helps the conversation move along quicker if you just throw out what your availability is. And honestly, in our position, in our point of acquisitions, we want to make sure that we have the flexibility for them. So throwing out, hey, does 10 a.m. tomorrow work? No, How about 11? And then just continuing to stay in control of that conversation.
Yeah, suggesting it was something we learned when I worked at McDonald's. We don't want to say, hey, which of the 10 menu items do you want? You want to say, oh, can I get you a burger and fries with that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anything around the room?
Around the noon, you say?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can come right at noon tomorrow. The 7th. Okay, great. And then will you be joining the meeting as well, or will it just be her?
It'll be covered. She understands for the most part, but if not, I believe our other going either.
Okay. Do you mind if I get their names as well?
It's going to be Fidela.
Okay.
And my attorney will be there to help her.
You said your attorney will be there?
Yeah. No, I'm in.
Oh, your husband. Okay, I think you're a yeah.
I'm in.
Okay, and what was your name?
My name is Paula.
Sounds good. Well, I will be there tomorrow at noon.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Talk to you later.
You're welcome. Bye.
So we did good at securing an appointment. My feedback would be secure the appointment early instead of being so late in the call, in the conversation. Get that appointment locked up earlier and then follow up asking questions and then close the call. But I feel like he maintained control of the conversation. He was asking good questions. He did a great job explaining to her our process. We're going to come in. We're going to look at the house. We're going to put a scope of work together.
Right.
This is what happens after we agree to a price. This is what you can expect to happen. Because every time you get a house under contract, the next thing that's going to happen is they're going to ask you what happens next. Now, that may not be on that specific call. That might be days later when they don't know what's happening. They're going to call and, hey, are we still going to close? Instead of leaving them in the clouds on what to expect, you're telling them at the very beginning the process. Right. And that helps keep people calm. Hey, it's okay. You're not going to hear from us for a few days. We're going to get the title work started. Once we get that a little bit further down the line, we'll call you and we'll schedule a date to close. Going through that whole process of explaining it for them, setting the stage of what's going to happen next, it saves you from having to take that call of a disgruntled person. Hey, when are we doing this? Hey, when are we closing? Hey, I haven't heard anything. Saves yourself the time by just explaining it at the very beginning. So,
right. Yeah. So, no, I thought that was a good assessment of the call, and good job to Clint for having a great outcome. Did you guys end up doing this deal, by the way?
I don't know. I would have to ask.
Okay. I like that you're doing so many deals you don't even know off the top of your head. That's a great place to be.
It is a good place to be.
So how long have you worked with Clint?
Clint has been our COO for officially since January, but he did start with us in October. Right. As a part-time role while he was transitioning out of his previous COO job.
Right. And you actually knew each other from church, so you knew each other before he started working with you.
Yes, we did. We met at church, and he had approached us as an investor wanting to get started in real estate, and we helped him with his very first. He did a flip in his hometown, and we kind of coached him through that process and helped him with getting it listed. And once he got it listed and sold, I think that just whet his appetite. And then he's like, hey, I want to come and work for you. So
that's awesome.
That's how it worked. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, good find with Clint. Enjoyed the analysis of the call. It was a great call. I liked that you're trying to move to set the appointment sooner, because that's what I felt too with my team's call. Yeah. And so, but both had a great outcome. So can't complain too much whenever there's a good outcome, right?
That's right. It could be worse.
So yeah, I hope this helps those listening understand. One thing I really liked how Clint did was set expectations. And as a beginner, you may not know because you haven't done a deal yet. So you could omit that from the call, because in my call, episode 160, there was no expectation set at all, and it was still a great outcome. So, but I do like that if you have done this before and you want to give some clarity, about how the process is going to go, I think that's a winning strategy as well. So let us know what you think of these cold call analysis and if they are helping in the Spotify Q&A, and then also on Instagram at Lecko or at Heritage Home Investments, which is Ryan's. Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks for listening to the DealMachine Real Estate Investing Podcast. Please leave us a review and follow along wherever you're listening to your podcast.